Welcome to the studio. Here are the students with their questions prepared and more than ready to fire those questions at Cliff. I guess the only way to talk about Cliff is that he's been around the pop industry for so long that his vital statistics have become 33, 45 and 78. Please welcome Cliff Richard. Well, Cliff, the students know their questions.
And I hope they know I'm not 78.
I hope they got that. I know the questions. The director knows the questions. Just about everybody in the studio knows the questions, except you.
Correct.
Now, over the years, I know you've always made a point of saying to any interviewer, whether it's on screen or journalist or whatever, you don't want to know the questions.
No.
Why is that?
Well, I always feel that if I know all the questions, I'm kind of working on the one that's fifth or sixth in line, thinking, well, that'd be a tough one. And then you lose, I think, spontaneity anyway. So I'd rather be caught out or be able to say, oh, I don't know, and just get on with the next question. I just feel that I would tend to lose spontaneity if I knew what was coming next, and I prefer to have it that way.
Spontaneity there will be. Let battle commence. First question, Nathan.
How do you reconcile Christian requirements of humility to the egotism of the music industry?
Well, I mean, I can't, to be honest with you. I've always been amazed that over the years that I've been a Christian, people have often suggested to me that Christianity is an easy option, you know, that it's actually easy to be a Christian. It's a cop-out. And I've found it even down to basics like this, that it's not. It's really difficult. When I go on stage, I have to present myself in a larger-than-life manner. And the only way I've been able to combat that is by trying in my private life to be as abnormally normal as possible.
It seems to me that your Christian music is less popular than your secular music. Do you agree with this? And if so, why do you think it's true?
I think it's true because, on the whole, for instance, when I've released a gospel album, it doesn't have the main thrust of a record campaign behind it. And so, therefore, its sales are definitely down. But the interesting thing for me is that one year, I released an album called Now You See Me, Now You Don't. And when I recorded it, I didn't tell EMI that it was a gospel album, that 9 of the 11 tracks were overtly Christian lyrics. I played them 3 of the tracks very early on in the recording sessions, and they said, wow, that one should be a single, and that was a song called The Only Way Out is the Only Way In. And I said, oh, yeah, all right. And I smiled, and we released it, and it was a top 10 hit. The album was a top 10 album, but they didn't know it was a gospel album. So they had actually given it the campaign that all the other albums had had.
Well, what interested me is, apart from your music industry, how you spend your spare time, what do you like to do most when you've got the occasional free day?
If I have a free day, it really starts the night before. I mean, my favourite thing is going to bed and not setting the alarm. I mean, to me, that's fantastic. It doesn't mean that I sleep late necessarily. It just means that I could if I wanted to. And I tend to be very home-orientated. I like where I live. I'm very fortunate. I live in a very beautiful area. It's very rural. You know, I tend to wake up at a fairly normal sort of time. I would not sleep later than 9, I suppose, on a day off. Perhaps 10. Walk the dogs, putter around the garden if the weather's good. If it's not, I'll probably phone a friend and go and play tennis. I very rarely strum my guitar anymore. I must get back into that again, because I've started playing my guitar more live on stage, and therefore I think I should start playing it more just for fun, because that's how you get practice.
Do you sing in the bath?
I sing in the shower because the echo in there is great. I don't ever want people to forget that, in point of fact, I never ever set myself up. I have never set myself as being better than anybody else. I only know that what I do seems to please a lot of people, and therefore I have a career. But it doesn't change the fact that I get cabbage between my teeth, that my dog will not obey me, and as I say, that I go and do my own shopping, wash up, and even sometimes cook myself.
Well, not yourself.
Oh, no, not myself. One of the perks of pubs, be able to heat your swimming pool.
It seems that with all your wealth and your fame that you get cut off from the real world. How do you manage to get your message across?
When it comes to getting one's message across, there's a mixture of needs from the people who listen to you. Because first of all, they wouldn't come unless you were this famous person who perhaps just appeared on Top of the Pops on a Thursday, and there you are in their church on a Sunday. So you need that kind of separation, that kind of pedestal syndrome. You need that around you a bit. But on the other hand, for them to actually accept you, you've also then got to be the boy next door. And it is a difficult thing to draw together.
The event was probably the most exciting thing that I've ever done live on stage. We'd spent 6 weeks rehearsing it, and suddenly this was it. 2 nights and it was all over, and all these people had come to support me. I felt quite moved, actually. In fact, on the video, I tried to have them take it out, because you can see my face is awash with tears. You know, when I see that with other people, I'm not always embarrassed, but I'm always wondering whether it's real or not. And so I didn't want anyone to think that about me. When I see it now, it still brings a lump to my throat.
I think you've got my old record collection on that jukebox.
Well, it is my old record collection. I'm represented here.
Are you?
Yeah.
I didn't see one of yours.
Move It by Me, it says. Or Do You Want to Dance? I've only got a couple of mine on here. And of course, the secret is it's got to be mono. Anything stereo and CD.
That's right.
Yeah, it's got to be mono. The jukebox has to be mono. Otherwise, it's just not authentic sound.
But you don't have to put money in that one to make it play.
No, I've got it set on freebies. Yeah.
You've been in the entertainment industry since 1957. Do you think it's changed much?
Since 1958, actually.
Sorry.
No, well, I was wanting to be in it from 57. I'd started to kind of aim at my career. As far as its changes, the changes have been unbelievable. When you think that when I started in 1958, we recorded in mono. I always think when the Beatles came out, which was 5 years after us, they kept saying, we did all ours and we only had 4-track machines linked together. We only had these mono things. That means 1 track. And to see the changes has been fantastic. All I know as an artist now, I'd rather be alive now doing it than go back.
Dare you to jump in.
About being outrageous.
When I've tried to be controversial, for instance, when I lost Eurovision Song Contest the 2nd time, I have lost it twice, the press man said to me, what did you think of the winning song? And I said, how do you spell because it wasn't a very good song. It just wasn't very... She was lovely, though, but it's not a beauty competition, you see. Do you know, I never got quoted anywhere. I was really annoyed. I thought to myself, here I am being all outrageous and saying of what I think of someone who just won a competition, and I didn't even get a sour grapes quote.
Hello. Did you go and hunt? Did you find the rabbit?
People could say, you know, oh, I really like Cliff Richard, therefore I'm going to become a Christian, and then follow Christianity for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure most of them are there just for his body rather than
I'm sure they don't think of going to a Cliff Richard concert to expand their Christian beliefs. They go because they see...
But isn't the sex appeal one of the main things that helps people buy your records?
Yes, it wasn't the sex appeal. I mean, I'm not crazy and I'm not naive. I do know that sex is a part of what we are as individuals. We are created, men and women. That's what the Bible tells us. And therefore, there's a sexuality that's natural and inbuilt. We attract each other all the time. It's the excessive selling of it that upsets me because I don't think it's necessary.
So what do you think of people who buy your records more for the sex appeal rather than for your music?
I have to say I'd be incredibly flattered. But I can't see that after all these years people would simply buy my records because they thought there was sex appeal in them. It may be true of people who come to concerts because then you're physically there in front of them, whereas a record is a record after all.
Have you chosen to be celibate? And if so, why?
Again, you see, celibacy is a funny word. It's an emotive word, and it suggests a dedication to being sexless. And I never made those vows, ever. So I've tried to say to the press many, many times that the Christian life demands that unless we are married, then we refrain from sexual activity. So all I do is try to live my life as a Christian. If I met somebody tomorrow and I felt that this was going to be my love of my life and I'm going to get married, then I would no longer have to live by that rule. There'd be a new rule for me.